Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, might have been destined for greatness on the silver screen, but history took a different turn. Think about it, a chance that could have catapulted him into the ranks of Hollywood's biggest stars, rivaling legends like Al Jolson, who also transitioned from stage to screen with mixed results. Yet instead of becoming a cinematic icon, Elvis's potential as an actor remained untapped, lost in a mix of studio hesitations and the challenges of translating his live performance magic to film. The idea of Elvis and Audrey Hepburn, or as fans might call her, Streisand in this hypothetical, collaborating on a movie is mind-blowing. Such a partnership could have created a film that would be talked about for decades, but it didn't happen. Instead, we got a series of attempts, some more successful than others, but none that truly captured the magic that audiences knew from his live performances. The first chance came in 1937, with a film featuring Janet Gaynor and Frederick March. Fast forward to 1954, another attempt with Judy Garland and James Mason. Both of these projects, though interesting, didn't quite pan out, leaving many to wonder what could have been. The key difference between Elvis and these earlier stars was the technology. While Al Jolson's early talkies were a struggle due to the limitations of early film and sound technology, Elvis had the advantage of the 1950s and 60s, with better equipment that could capture his unique charm. At first, Elvis struggled with the transition to film. His early attempts were a bit rocky, but he soon found his footing. One of the people who helped him was Walter Scharf, the musical director for several of Elvis's films. Scharf remembered Elvis as incredibly cooperative and respectful, often going above and beyond to get things right. Elvis would even re-record songs on the spot if Scharf suggested improvements, showing a level of dedication that was rare in Hollywood. But Elvis's experience on set took another strange turn with the arrival of Colonel Tom Parker, his manager. Parker seemed to have an almost magical effect on Elvis, transforming his performances when he was present. Without Parker, Elvis's movie performances could falter, highlighting just how crucial Parker's influence was. Despite these challenges, those who worked with Elvis often spoke highly of him. Celeste Yarnall, an actress who worked with him, shared stories of his kindness and charisma. She recalled a moment when, despite being a rising star herself, she was immediately put at ease by Elvis's warm greeting. Their friendship blossomed, showing that Elvis was not just a talented performer, but also someone who could connect deeply with people. Yarnall described Elvis as having two sides, one that adored women, especially those with strong personalities, and another that was very much a man's man. This duality made him fascinating to be around. She also noted his intelligence and love for reading, traits that made him even more remarkable. Elvis's charm wasn't just limited to women. His interactions with others were marked by a genuine interest and respect. He had a way of making people feel special, as if they were the only person in the world to him. This ability to connect deeply with others, combined with his undeniable talent, is what made Elvis so endearing, both on and off the screen. In the end, while Elvis Presley may not have become the movie star he could have been, his impact on film and popular culture remains undeniable. His story is one of missed opportunities, but also of a man who touched countless lives with his music, his charisma, and his spirit. Elvis Presley was more than just the charismatic performer known to the public. He was a complex individual with deep spiritual interests and a desire to connect authentically with people. According to Celeste, who worked closely with him, Elvis's spiritual side often clashed with more traditional figures in his life, like the Colonel, leading to his books being confiscated. Yet Elvis craved genuine connections, especially with those who could understand his unique experiences. As a father for the first time in 1968, Elvis felt overwhelmed. The arrival of his daughter, Lisa Marie, changed everything. He found himself out of his element, afraid even to sing at home for fear of waking the baby. The household became quiet, contrasting sharply with Elvis's usual lively presence. He expressed his frustration about the change, feeling like a stranger in his own home. The quiet environment and the presence of many women made him feel particularly out of place. Despite his hectic schedule, Elvis yearned to be more involved as a father. His love for people and animals was profound, yet his demanding career often kept him away. This tension between his professional obligations and personal desires was a constant struggle for him. Elvis's spiritual side was another facet that fascinated and sometimes perplexed those around him. He delved into esoteric subjects, reading books like Erich von Daniken's Chariots of the Gods. These readings opened up new ways of thinking for him, and he often spoke of mysterious experiences, like a blue light appearing over his house at his birth. While he couldn't always explain these phenomena, it was clear they had a significant impact on him, possibly fueled by his innate curiosity and love for both people and animals. Working on film sets, Elvis was a unique presence. He was respected by the crew for his talent and charisma, but those who knew him intimately saw a different side, a man who could effortlessly switch from performing to playing instruments, effortlessly transitioning between genres like operatic arias, country, and rock. His voice when he sang opera transformed. It was as if he became one of the great tenors, captivating everyone around him. Despite his fame, Elvis treated the crew like family. He would spontaneously perform and play instruments during breaks, bringing joy and a sense of normalcy to the often chaotic set environment. His ability to connect with everyone, from electricians to technicians, was remarkable. They admired him not just as the legendary Elvis Presley, but as a kind and talented person. One memorable moment for Celeste was a kissing scene for a film based on a book titled Kiss My Firm But Pliant Lips. The scene was intense, and despite the heat and fatigue, Elvis was completely absorbed in the moment, continuing to kiss her even when the director called cut. This moment highlighted his dedication and the deep connection he could create, even in a fictional context. Elvis's personal life, however, was marked by complexity. His friendship with Celeste, which began on set, ended due to life's complexities, though they remained friends. His perfectionist nature was evident even in small things, like ensuring makeup was perfectly applied during shoots. Yet his personal struggles, including his hectic schedule and the pressures of his career, took a toll. Despite his love for filmmaking, Elvis had mixed feelings about acting. Celeste believed that if he had starred in A Star Is Born, he would have been nominated for an Academy Award. However, he seemed to enjoy other projects more, like Live a Little, Love a Little, which allowed him to showcase a different side of himself. Elvis's interactions with others, even in difficult situations, revealed his true character. When actor Susanna Lee stood firm during a disagreement, Elvis reacted petulantly, showing a less polished side. This incident illustrated that beneath his polished public image, Elvis was a multifaceted person with his own set of challenges. Elvis Presley was seen as a wonderful person by many who worked with him, including Susanna Lee. He had a big passion for making films. Even though some of his movies weren't great, he tried really hard to make them good. This shows he was a dedicated actor. Hal Wallis was a key figure in Elvis's life, especially in his movies. Wallis saw something special in Elvis, calling him a star and believing in him. He thought Elvis could make much better films than what he was making at the time. Wallis respected Elvis a lot and knew how to handle the tough Colonel. This was how Elvis's manager was often referred to, known for being very controlling and focused on making money. The Colonel, whose real name was Colonel Tom Parker, was like a father figure to Elvis, but also very controlling. He was in charge of everything related to Elvis's career, and made sure they made lots of money. When Parker was around, it was clear to everyone, including Elvis, that business was his main focus. Elvis had a unique way of connecting with people, even royalty. Susanna Lee met Queen Elizabeth II and talked about Elvis at the movie premiere for Born Free. She even tried to arrange for Elvis to visit England, but Parker, being in charge, ended up getting the invitation. Unfortunately, Elvis couldn't make it due to Parker's influence. Music was a huge part of Elvis's films and couldn't be ignored. Writers had to work around putting songs into the movies, often finding creative ways to fit them in. While some films with fewer songs were better, Elvis's films usually had music woven into them. There were talks about Elvis starring in A Star Is Born, a film about music which would have been a perfect fit for him, but it never happened. Elvis had a close relationship with Susanna Lee, and she had a unique experience with him. She recalled him giving her a custom-made brooch instead of a typical gift. This shows how personal and thoughtful Elvis was with those close to him. Many people believed Elvis could have been even greater in films, like in A Star Is Born. There were whispers of fights between Elvis and Parker over creative choices, though they didn't talk about it directly. Elvis wanted more control over his life and career, especially after leaving Vegas to perform again and moving away from Parker's influence. Larry Geller, one of Elvis's associates, wanted Elvis to distance himself from Parker. Geller believed Elvis was ready for a change, wanting to simplify his life, move to Hawaii, and focus on personal growth and new projects. However, Parker was resistant to this idea, fearing change and wanting Elvis to keep performing. In the final days, Elvis's health worsened. He was often sick, and the medical advice he received was often conflicting and sometimes harmful. Despite this, Parker insisted he perform, showing a lack of understanding of Elvis's health needs. Elvis realized he needed a change, wanting to stop touring and focus on reading, meditation, and possibly starting a charity. Elvis's health issues were not new. He struggled with high blood pressure, a problematic colon, and throat issues. He relied on many doctors, each giving different advice, and often took multiple medications without proper coordination. This reflects a time when discussing health openly was not common, unlike today where it can be seen as a strength. In simple terms, Elvis Presley was loved by many for his dedication and passion. He faced challenges due to the control of those around him, especially Parker. Despite this, he always tried to make the best of his situation, whether in films or his personal life. His story is a mix of talent, ambition, and the struggle for autonomy in a time when the entertainment industry was very different from what it is today.